So for a while now, I wanted to make a video like this one because I felt like things were changing, things were happening with these games. But I needed to wait until Devil May Cry 5 came out so I can see exactly how that game played out, because that's one of my favorite franchises in gaming history, believe it or not. I know there's a shit ton of other games to be had. But honestly, like, you know, Devil May Cry 5 or Devil May Cry as a whole has been a franchise that I have looked up to for a while now. And when Devil May Cry 5 came out, or when Devil May Cry, that reboot, came out, I felt betrayed. You know, I felt like my voice didn't matter at all, because I wanted another Devil May Cry so bad. And we waited so long with the cliffhangers and the story and the gameplay that was, I feel like that was just kind of, I felt like some of the stuff were being addressed, and I felt like a lot of things could have happened. When we got that reboot, you know, I fought against it, and a lot of my subscribers came from that, from when I fought against Capcom giving, you know, the keys to Ninja Theory, which they, in my opinion, drove off the cliff with, especially Tadim. I don't even need to get into that, but you know, I felt like they went the complete, utter wrong way with that game. So when Devil May Cry 5 was announced, I was blown away. Like, I almost shed a tear, because again, favorite franchise. So with all the games that were coming out from Capcom, this was the one that I needed to know was going to be legit. And after playing this game, still playing the game, you know, even bought the collector's edition of this game, even though that microtransaction thing scared me. I put down the money. I put down the $150 for the collector's edition, which I am still waiting for. But even though I did that, I have to say, you know, I think a lot of people need to do this too. I need to say thank you. Thank you, Capcom, for addressing a lot of the problems so far. You guys have been going full speed ahead with the right idea, with the right mindset to have for delivering these games. I mean, again, Devil May Cry 4, I think, was kind of the last straw for me, or maybe Street Fighter 5, because it was just like, man, like, I don't think we're going to be getting any good games soon. Like, you have to understand, you know, we had Devil May Cry 4 that didn't turn out good. We had Dead Rising 3 that didn't turn out to be good. Street Fighter just lost its edge and stuff like that. And even though this game came out kind of at the point where, you know, Capcom was going full speed ahead, I have to throw in Marvel Infinite, because Marvel Infinite, even though it was a great game at its core, it didn't answer the cries from a lot of the fans. Like, it felt like a placeholder game, you know, like it just felt like a game just to kind of toss out. It didn't, like, time was put in, and it, like, love was put in. And I don't want to say that, you know, insulting the people that made it, because the gameplay, like I said, it shows. You know, the gameplay really spoke out to me as a person that loves fighting games. So it was good at that aspect, but the aesthetics, you know, the main menu, hopping into that game when it first starts, felt like a drag. Going into the game, picking out your characters felt depressing, and then looking at the character models just looked unbelievable, and not in a good way. Like, it just, it just was like, I can't believe we're looking at an unfinished product. It feels like. But even with that said, there were so many things that were addressed down the pipeline. Like, it was, you have Monster Hunter that really had a lot of skeptical eyes, but sold crap tons, and the game plays phenomenally. Yes, the PC version kind of is dragging, but at the same time, though, like, it's definitely getting us a really good start for Monster Hunter to be on the consoles. And when I was playing it, it reminded me of another game that I hold dear to me, and that's Phantasy Star Online. That game felt so familiar to me, or Monster Hunter felt so familiar to me with Phantasy Star, that I was just like, wow, this is phenomenal. I am addicted, and I was addicted for a long period of time. Street Fighter V, you know, every now and then I kind of find myself kind of going back to it, because they fixed a lot of things that I had issues with, and it wasn't too much I had issues with, other than maybe like some variety options. But the real big problem I had with was the net play. The net play was almost unplayable when that game came out, and that got addressed over time. It's not as good as it should be, but it's definitely playable now, and I mean, I have to give them kudos for that. I also see a lot of effort being put into that game. And even though I had to really thank the community for that portion, I have to thank Capcom for listening to the community as well, for trying to address these issues. And I'm always watching, you know, the tournaments. I'm always watching to see what happens at the Capcom Cup and stuff. So if you can get me to do that, then, you know, you have my support. So again, thank you for that. Mega Man, they brought back a character that was thought to be dead. Okay, that was thought to be, we're never seeing this character ever again. Okay, but then they brought it back, and they didn't even bring it back as a reboot. They brought it back as a sequel to all the other Mega Mans, and to me, that is a huge milestone, because that's a big legacy game, and it was good. It was good, and that's the most important thing, is that not only did they bring back something that was old, you know, but they brought it back good. You know what I'm saying? So kudos to Capcom again. Resident Evil 7 and then Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 7 brought back the horror. Okay, it brought back everything that was loved about Resident Evil. Now, I haven't been a fan of this franchise. I didn't start playing Resident Evil until Resident Evil 4. But I understood the magnitude of how important that game was. You know, like how important this game was to the fans and stuff. And when 7 came out and they did it with the VR too, that was the only game I think that pushed VR to its limit, and made me say, hey, I might want to go ahead and pick this up so I can play this game, because playing it without it might not be the same. And it still was the same. You know, it still was very good without it, and that was good. That was important. And of course, that's where it started with Capcom, you know, coming back, was that game. I think that game really started setting the tone of Capcom really making its run through consumers and through the gamers and stuff like that. And then you got Resident Evil 2 Remake, and man, I don't even have to say anything. That game is the definition of what you want to do with a remake. Everything was new, everything was fresh, the horror was there. People are still playing this game on Twitch, trying to run through it the fastest way possible. Constant replay value in that game and free DLC to support the game, and they're very great additions. Like, they're not like shoot or in DLC, like crap that you don't need, you know. Like, these are very fun. And like, I was talking to a friend of mine that I was just like, man, it would be really cool to see the perspective of the officer that got bit and how that department kind of went down, and they're doing it. And I was just like, dang, like, I didn't even put that in the form. I was kidding. But they're doing that, and I was just like, dang, Capcom is not playing games out here. And again, of course, Devil May Cry 5, and I don't even need to go into that. I've said my piece. I played it, beat it. I plan on playing it so much more. And that's what motivated me to make this video, to really say thank you to that team. Thank you to everyone that's working on these games. Thanks to everyone that is listening. I feel like Capcom is well beyond the right path. They're going in the heights that I haven't seen in a long time. And that's like with every other company too, because Capcom right now is the only one that are kind of sticking out. I mean, there's Nintendo, there's Square and all that, but Capcom is really pushing out these titles. And I think a lot of people need to let them know that. I think a lot of people need to, I mean, not obviously with just showing it in your wallets, but voicing that out, so that way they know that we're appreciative and happy with the content that we're getting out of these games. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that they're done. This doesn't mean that they're Capcom God status. I mean, that's not there yet. Someone said it best, and that's Maximilian. They got to make a good fighting game now. They have to bring out a game, whether it's a new IP or an existing one. They have to bring that out, and they have to shoot from the hip. Like, they have to go in John McClane status and give us the game that we were all looking for, whether that's Marvel vs. Capcom, whether it's another Street Fighter game, whether it's a new IP. Something's gotta give. I would be interested in seeing a new IP. Maximilian Dude said it best. Again, a Capcom All-Stars game would be amazing. Like, I think with all the characters that you have on your franchise, like on your squad, I think that bringing out a game that shows all the characters from Capcom in a fighting game would really give the team freedom. Because I felt like it wasn't Capcom's fault that Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was trash. I feel like Marvel was at fault for that because they wanted to release that game so quickly. If you built this game within the company, right, with no help from anyone else and stuff, or from a company that would rush you to bring out the title, I feel like the game would come out phenomenal with today's new Capcom team. I really do at this point. And again, with all the characters that you have, I couldn't believe that this game wouldn't sell by the millions. But of course, people would want Marvel vs. Capcom, and a lot of people have been saying it that if they could just redo Infinite and kind of just give it a huge update, just give it like an expansion pack pretty much, which is like a whole new game, new graphics, new UI, more characters, different features, different aesthetic. this game would be dope, and then it would come out for maybe like $30 or something like that, or whatnot. And I think that would be great. I think that would be fantastic, and that would be, the moment where I would say maybe Capcom is now Capcom Gods, or Cap God, or whatever you want to call it. Like, because at this point, they've been getting every shot on that target, bullseye. Like, they've been getting it on point. So I feel like now is the time for Capcom to do that. However, let's say they don't do that for a while. I still think Capcom is doing such a hell of a job, man. I feel like Capcom is killing it with these games, and I hope they continue to kill it. I'm looking forward to E3, even though it's so far away. Or hell, you got Evo, and we don't even know what that could be announced over there. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Capcom does next. I'm looking forward to seeing if they do make another fighting game, and how they support the games that they have and the games that they're gonna make in the future. But what do you guys think? How do you think Capcom is doing? Do you think Capcom is doing pretty good? Do you think Capcom still needs to step their game up, or have they not impressed you yet? Definitely leave your comments down below so that way I can check it out. Definitely answer some of them if I can. If you like the video, definitely hit that like button as well. Definitely helps the video get seen by more people. And if you want to show your support, definitely hit the subscribe button if you like. No force in that whatsoever. So this is your man Sith Punk. I'm out. Hopefully I get to make some more videos. It is it's busy out here, but I'll get back at you guys. All right, later.